So what I wanted to do in this segment we call Fight My Five is break down my 5 MVP candidates for this upcoming season. All right, we're going to take this slow and romance this thing. At number 5, this might be a surprise. Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm going with Tom Brady, the guy who turned Tampa into Tampa. Mr. Tom Brady, I know. He's elderly. We know he's in his mid-40s. And I know last year he led the NFL in throwaways. There's so many things you can point to. But I'll tell you what, he's ready to rock and roll. Not only does he have Gronk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. And speaking of Chris Godwin, I want you to listen to me while you're watching these highlights. I talked to Chris Godwin yesterday. I said, Chris, what was it like when you were working out with Tom this offseason? I'm talking about that first time you came out your break and you were looking back at the GOAT throwing you a ball. You know what he said? He said, Nate, I came out that break, I looked at my QB, and that ball was exactly where it was supposed to be. I thought that was a powerful statement. He said, I don't care what people are saying about Tom, he isn't old. Just wait until you see what we do this season. So that's why I have Tom Brady at number 5. They're going to be cooking something up. Number 4, CMC. Christian McCaffrey, the White Panther, Wakanda forever, White-Conda forever. This dude is an absolute beast. Listen, we know that he can run in between the tackles like we're seeing right here. We know that he can be physical if he needs to be. One of his biggest strengths is not running and being a traditional running back. It's also being a wide receiver. And check out the breakaway speed. This dude is going to do this all season long. And last year, it wasn't an offense that was well-balanced. Every single defense was coming in knowing they had to stop Christian McCaffrey, and they couldn't. Peter Schrager came on the show a couple of months ago and said that Christian McCaffrey can put up 1,500 and 1,500. 3,000 total yards. I believe him. I think CMC can do something really special. And guess what? Teddy Bridgewater, he can micromanage the game, which means there will be a lot of nickel and diamond, and those nickel and dimes will end up in CMC's pocket. I got him at number 4. Number 3. Russell Wilson, the guy I was just talking about. Kyle Brandt does one of his quizzes on the show, and he said, which guy has never received an MVP vote? When he said Russell Wilson's name, I almost fell out of my seat. I can't believe it. As good as he's been, as dominant as he's been early in his career, going to back-to-back Super Bowls, he had one season where he accounted for, I don't know, what was it, 75, 80% of his team's offense? Russell Wilson is a beast. Not only will DK Metcalf, the guy that you saw catch that ball, not only will Tyler Lockett, the guy that you're about to see catch this ball, but the running backs that got injured at the end of the season, those guys are going to help out with this offense, which gives Russell Wilson the ability to not only have a good season, but be in the race for MVP this year. It's a damn shame he hasn't received one vote. Lamar Jackson, I know you're saying, Nate, whoa, wait a minute. He was the MVP this past season. Why do you have a number 2? Well, listen, the way he ended the season, it kind of left the sour taste in my mouth, and I know the Baltimore fans, and of course, Lamar Jackson, he talks about it all the time. Lamar Jackson is fantastic. He's a beast. He can throw with the best of them, and we know he can run better than any other quarterback in the business. The question that I have is, will teams finally be able to corral this young man? Will he go into this season not running as much? I don't think he's going to get hurt. I don't believe in the thought that Lamar is skinny, he's slight, and running quarterbacks can't last. I don't believe that. I just feel like there's a better chance of defenses being able to keep him contained. Not stop him, keep him contained. But with that said, if you keep him contained, he's still going to rush for over 1,000 yards like he's a good running back. And he's going to throw with the best of them, 25-plus, 30-plus TDs. Lamar Jackson just has the total package, which is why he will always be in the MVP race if he's healthy and standing upright. All right, at number 1, I'm going with this man.
We got,
you know who he is. Half a
Sir.
Billy, a Billy, a Billy, Billy, a Billy, a Billy. Yeah, Pat Mahomes. I'm rolling with my homies. And if you think I'm lying, you're clueless. Hey, listen, Pat Mahomes, over the last couple seasons, has proved to be something we've never seen. And I thought I'd never say that. This game has been in existence for 100 years. We just celebrated 100 years. Did we ever see a guy throw no-look passes like Pat Mahomes? Did we ever see a guy throw sidearm effortlessly? Did we ever see a guy at his size, his speed, take a ball 50 yards in right before halftime in the AFC Championship game like Pat Mahomes? No. He is intelligent. He is smart. He is fearless when it comes to the throws that he tries to make. And you know what? He's a leader. And the guys listen to him. And because he missed those games this year when his knee was on backwards, you guys remember that? When his knee popped backwards, he was dislocated, popped back into place, and he went on the sideline, and he told Coach, I want to go back in. I believe if he would have played straight through, it would have been neck and neck with him and Lamar for the MVP votes. So for me, I'm going with what we know as recency bias. Pat Mahomes not only ended the season on a high note, he also got the big contract, so we're going to keep our eyes on him more so than anybody else. So starting at 5, Tom, Christian McCaffrey, Russell Wilson at 3, Lamar Jackson at 2, and Pat Mahomes at number 1. Guys, that right there is my 2020 MVP candidates. Fight my 5. Kyle Brandt, what say you?
Mahomes at the top of the list, and when it's all said and done, Nate, we may be calling him the half-a-Billy GOAT. But I look at him, he won his MVP in his second season. Lamar won his MVP in the second season. We have a second-year quarterback who already won Rookie of the Year, and that was before he even had DeAndre Hopkins in his own huddle. Kyler Murray, Nate, not even in the top 5 list, including behind a running back. What say you?
Yeah, that's tough, Kyle, because I waffle back and forth about popping him in there over Tom Brady. And you're right. When you look at that second-year success from Lamar, Pat Mahomes, it's almost like we expect him to have this huge jump. Kyle, I'm not mad at you for that. Peter, what you say, man?
I'm seeing Tom Brady on your list, a 43-year-old quarterback going to a new team that hasn't had playoff success in more than a decade. And yet I see another 40-year-old quarterback who's going turnkey into a situation he knows very well, and his team might be the favorites in the NFC heading into the season. Where the heck is Drew Brees?
Yeah, Drew Brees, he was just outside my top 5. And before any New Orleans fans say, Nate hates Drew Brees, I love Drew Brees. How many times do I have to say I wish I would have played with him? But I just feel like Drew Brees, he has these moments where he will dominate. Crazy numbers statistically, production through the roof. And then games will be won with nickel and diamond. And he'll allow other guys in the MVP race to catch up. And maybe that's because I remember the games last year where he was banged up and out. I just don't know if Drew Brees at this point in his career is on everybody's list to win the MVP. But Peter Schrager, with how he throws to Michael Thomas and how successful the Saints are every season, he could easily end up being the MVP. I feel you. Okay?
I love it. I'll give you a dark horse, somebody I'd like to see on this list in consideration if everything turns out right. How about Deshaun Watson, Nate? If he continues to progress, if he beats the Chiefs in their matchup to start the season, if he goes 12-4, if he puts up monster numbers without DeAndre Hopkins, I'd like to see him be in this situation, to be in this story, to use that narrative to his advantage in the MVP conversation. So many people are expecting him to take a step back without a star wideout. So if he defies that and goes on a rampage this year, it's going to be tough to deny him considering that context, don't you think?
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Deshaun Watson is an absolute beast. And let me say this right now. I will stack up Deshaun Watson's highlights up against Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes. And maybe we should do this on the show. We got a little bit of time before the season starts. His highlights are just as good. But you know what, Kay? You bring up a good point about him kind of wearing the weight of the organization on his shoulders. He gets sacked a lot. And the only reason that I put him on the list is because he gets hit so much. He's pretty durable for how much he gets sacked. But until they fix that, I just don't see him winning the MVP. And maybe this is the year where they correct that and keep him upright more often.